So to start this video off, I had someone asking me how to create a bank statement and how to create a check stub. If you go to the website PDF Filler, you can edit any PDF document that you want to. All you have to do is simply upload a PDF file and you can edit it. Yeah, it's just that easy. So basically you're not creating a new bank statement, but instead you're editing a bank statement of yours that you can easily download from your online banking at any time. You can also do the same thing with a check stub that you get from your employer if you can access it online. Just make sure to download it or save it as a PDF file and you'll be all good to go. And remember, you can also do this with W-2s and any other documents that you might need, as long as they're PDF files. Even if your document is not a PDF, there are ways to turn any document into a PDF file. So remember that Google is your best friend and search everything. But now that that's done, let's move on to filing taxes for free, whether you had a job or not for the entire year. In this video, we'll be filing taxes with TaxAct, so if you have an account, then sign in, and if you don't have an account, then create one. It won't take long at all. Once you sign in, it should look something like this. But before we start filing for our return, we need to find an employer since we didn't have a job for the entire year, and we did not receive a W-2 form in mail. If you have an old W-2 laying around the house, then I would highly recommend that you use it instead doing the method that I'm about to show you. Also, if you did work for the entire year and you just wanted to get a bigger refund, most of the time you can get away with changing just one single digit and get a few extra $1,000s. I'll show you that later in the video just in case you didn't know about it. But now, since we're doing a return from Michigan, I did a search for the top companies in Michigan, and the company I ended up choosing was General Motors. This company is very well known and has over 100,000 employees. Next, we have to go to the company search website and search for General Motors. Once we click on our company, we'll go to the next page, and if we go up to the top, we'll see company information. Right here is everything we need so we can properly file for a tax return with General Motors as our employer. Now, back to filing a tax return. The first section you'll come to is tell us about yourself. On this part, you have to fill out all of your real personal information. They need to assure that you're a real person and not someone using a bot to get a tax refund check. When you get down to occupation, you can put the company's name or you can put a job position/title. You can also do a search to see what positions the company may have and use one of those. Also, if you like to, you can also put manager inside of this box because pretty much every company has one of those. But to always be on the safe side, just put the company's name and everything should work with no problem. But once you get done with that, click continue. On the next page, you have to put your real social security number, and when you get done with that, click continue. The next page is our relationship status, and for this one, we'll select single. Make sure to choose the option that describes you and hit continue. On do you have any dependents, we'll select no, but if you do have any, then this will be the time to add them on your return. But when you get done, hit continue. On the next page, you just have to put your street address and zip code and then click continue. Now, for what were your sources of income? You want to select employee W-2, then hit continue. For the next 3 questions, you want to keep selecting none of the above and hitting continue. On the next page, they want to personalize your experience. Just scroll to the bottom and select no thanks. Now, let's start our income. The first thing they want from you is your employer's ID number, also known as an EIN number. So now we have to go back to the company's information that we looked up earlier. As you can see, right here is the number that we need, so we'll just copy and paste inside of this box right here. Next is how would you like to enter your document data, and we'll just select manual entry. This is the only way to do it. Now we have to enter the rest of the company's information, so we have to go back to the company's information page, copy and paste everything, and when we're done, hit continue. Finally, we get to the most important part, which is income, taxes withheld, and tips. So, since we never worked for the entire year, that means we never received the W-2. So we pretty much have to use random amounts in boxes number 1, 3, and 5. Just make them believable and try to keep box number 1 under $100,000. If you did work for the entire year, then you can just use your original W-2. Just copy everything exactly as it is. But when you get to the federal taxes withheld part, every $1,000 you add to the amount withheld, you will then receive an extra $1,000 on your tax refund amount. So for this example, let's go with $77,550 for wages and tips. For Social Security wages, let's just go with $7,900. And then for Medicare wages, let's do the same exact amount, $7,900. And yes, it's okay for these two amounts to be different or the same. It doesn't matter, it can still work. But now we have to find out how much federal taxes should be withheld from our amount of $77,550. And if we look right here, tax percentage ranges can go from 10 up to about 37%. So what I like to do is use around 22 to 24% withheld. So we'll go to our percentage calculator and we'll see how much 24% is of $77,550. And our number is $18,612. So we can take that number and put it inside of box number 2. Now we have to see how much tax is withheld from our Social Security wages. If we look here, it says the percentage is about 6.2% withheld. So now we'll go back to our percentage calculator and we have to see how much is 6.2% of $7,900. And our number is around $490. So we'll put that number inside of box number 4. Next, we have to see how much tax is withheld from our Medicare wages. And as you can see here, it's saying it should be about 1.45% withheld. So now we go back to the percentage calculator and see how much 1.45% of $7,900 is. And our number is around $115. So that's the amount we'll put inside of box number 6. Now that we're finished with the federal part, we'll move on to the state, which is optional, and you don't have to do it because most of your refund check will come from your federal return and not your state return. But let's move on to the state anyway. So for box number 15, you want to select your state, and remember, all states don't file state taxes. But after you pick your state, you need your employer's identification number, and that's the same number from earlier, so you want to go back and get that number, then paste it inside of this box right here. Now, for state wages and tips, we just want to go back up to box number 1 and use this exact number. Just copy and paste it if you have to. Next, we have to see how much percentage is withheld from the state wages. If we look here, for Michigan, it should be around 4.25%. So now we'll go back to our percentage calculator for the last time and we'll see how much 4.5% is of $77,550. It's okay to make the withheld percentage slightly higher for a tiny boost in your refund, and that's what we'll do. But after we hit equals, our number is around $3,490. So we'll take that number and put it inside of box number 17. Once you get done, make sure to look over the page to make sure everything looks okay, and after that, click continue. Now, as you can see, it's showing us how much of a federal and state refund we'll be getting back, over $10,000. But now, let's go back and change it to a bigger, more ideal amount. So let's go back and change our federal withheld amount to around $25,000. That should be around $7,000 more on our refund check. Also, let's change the state withheld from $3,000 to $5,000. That should give us an extra $2,000 for our state refund. And if you have an actual W-2, then these are the two amounts that you would change if you wanted a bigger refund overall. As you can see, we'll be getting back over $17,000 for federal now and over $3,000 for state. For me, it's still over the $20,000 mark, which I would try to avoid. So I'll go back and make the refund about $1,000 lower. And there, now we get just under $20,000 back, and that would keep you from getting into any serious trouble if someone happened to catch on with how much you received on your refund check. In the next video, I'll push the limits and I'll see what's the biggest return we can file without setting off any red flags. When you get to credit section, they ask you about health insurance. Just say no to this part so they don't ask you any other questions and you should be all good. I know this can be confusing sometimes, so I had to point this one out. Also, when you get to the state section, if the questions don't apply to you, just leave the boxes blank and click continue. But I'll keep speeding everything up and slow the video down if you need to. Now we're at the part where it checks the return for any errors or inconsistencies. And as you can see, we have 0 red flags on the entire return. So everything is good to go. And now we'll just finish the tax return. Make sure to not pay for anything extra besides your state return. And that should be paid out of your refund amount and not paid out of your pocket today. Finally, we get to the end and they ask you about your AGI and just select did not file taxes for 2024. But since you did not file taxes for 2024, they will ask you for your ID number and information. And it's okay to enter everything about you because it's important to make sure it's really you who is filling out this return and not someone stealing your information for a financial gain. But that's it for this video right here. I'm thinking about doing Florida next, or what state should I do? Remember, the next video I'll be trying to get the biggest tax refund possible without setting off any red flags. With all that being said, I'll talk to you guys later. Until next time, HD out.